When it comes to life, we spin our own yarn, and where we end up is really, in fact, where we always intended to be. Julia Glass.
Welcome back to the homestead, y'all. This is our 5-foot by 10-foot grow. It's been 6 weeks since we planted these seeds. Today we got our first zucchini off of it. I'm having to come back in here about once a week and trim these leaves back and prune them. I'm afraid of blossom end rot. I'm afraid of powdery mildew. So once a week I've been coming in here and trimming these out. In fact, I had to cut me out a spot to where I could sit in here and get in camera. But they're growing great. They're looking good. Like I said, we got our first zucchini today. I can't believe it's only been 6 weeks and these plants are this big. All our beans are starting to trail us up, getting to the top. Our cucumbers are trailing up. We have small cucumbers on all of them. The beans are blooming, the zucchini's blooming, the squash is blooming. So I want to go ahead and get some of these bigger leaves off here so that way we'll hopefully prevent powdery mildew and blossom end rot. I wasn't going to make another video this quick on this grow, but it's been doing so well that I thought I would show you how it was doing, how it was progressing. We're having to really keep an eye on the cucumber vines. You can see these are cucumber leaves right here. They're probably twice the size of my hand. The squash and zucchini leaves are just huge. They're just big, beautiful leaves. So I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna cut some of these back and get them out of here, and I'll put them in the composter. And hopefully it'll help prevent powdery mildew and blossom end rot. We'll let sunshine in, we'll let air flow through it. It really doesn't matter how you cut these. I like to cut some of the big top leaves so that way it lets more sunshine into the blooms. You'll get more blooms, which produces more squash and zucchini. But I just go through here. There's a big one right there. I'll cut it off. But you can see how big they are. But we've been very pleased with how well these have grown. Looks like we have some squash that'll be ready to pick in a couple days. Today is June 30th. Remember, we planted the seeds on May 19th. So, like I said, it's 6 weeks today since we planted the seeds of these. A couple more back here. And I'll grab the camera and take you around and show you all the blooms that are inside this. One thing I do look for, if I see any disease on any of the leaves, I'll make sure to cut those off. Or if I see insects that I don't want in my garden, I'll cut those leaves off. And like I said, those leaves, if they're a diseased leaf, I take them to my burn pile. I don't put them in my composter. But I haven't seen any diseased leaves on any of these plants yet. I do have some holes where the Japanese beetles are just starting to get in. So I called my chickens over here this morning, and my wife and I, we picked Japanese beetles off and fed them to the chickens. And we just go around, and sometimes we'll get us a little can with some water in it and throw them in it, and sometimes we'll just squeeze them a little and pitch them down and let the chickens eat them. That's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go around back here, cut some of these. Get some of these bigger leaves off. Now later on in the year, if I start to see powdery mildew on any of them, I'll cut those leaves immediately. And like I said, I'll take them, put them in the burn pile. But our beans are trellising well, our cucumbers are trellising well. You can see this is a cucumber over here. Cucumbers here trellising up. And they're looking great. All of them are looking real good. Now I do help the cucumbers This cucumber is actually coming across from that side, from the other side. So I do help them trellis. You do have to weave those in and out a little bit, but once they grab a hold, these little arms grab a hold, they're usually good to go. Okay, well that should have it opened up pretty good. I'll grab the camera and take you around and give you a closer look at everything. So if we look in here, you can see this is a cucumber, but you can see the blooms. The blooms back there on that one. These are cucumber leaves. The beans are climbing up. Most of the beans are over head high now. So we'll look in here at the zucchini. You can see all the blooms in there. And then the squash. You can see the blooms, you can see the squash down in there. And the beans trellising up on this side. And then the cucumbers trellising up. So these are cucumbers here. See, that's cucumber leaves. And we'll take a peek in here. All the blooms from the squash. If you have any questions or comments about this grow, please leave them below. Thanks for watching.